we're back with another video.
This time we are doing a review of
The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins.
So
yeah, this is our first review on this channel, which is super exciting.
Yeah! Yes, a buddy review. Buddy!
Yeah, that's what it is. Buddy!
Heavyweights, guys. Buddy! But you should, if you know what we're talking about, please
Comment
tell
below.
us, because that make me happy. So me and Erica started Girl on the Train together, actually. We did an audiobook for the first time. We normally kind of just listen to music in the car.
Yeah.
And this time we thought, like, oh, it'd be a really good idea to listen to a book. And we both decided on Girl on the Train. So the beginning part of this review, we're going to do spoiler-free. And then we're going to kind of go into more detail. And now we'll have some spoilers in it. So we'll let you know when that section's happening, but don't listen to that section if you haven't read the book.
Don't listen to us.
Don't do it.
Don't. You'll really regret it.
Because it's an amazing book.
It's so good. So Girl on a Train is about a woman named Rachel who is kind of at a horrible point in her life. She's kind of isolated herself. She's developing a drinking problem, and every day she takes a train ride through the same street, and she kind of has this fixation on a certain couple that she sees every day at their house.
And the train kind of slows down at that spot, so she gets a chance every day, twice a day, to kind of look in on this kind of perfect couple in her mind. And one day she's riding the train, and you know, it stops and she looks out, and something happens.
She sees something that's not quite right.
Yeah, and it kind of goes on from there. The book is told from the perspective of three different women. One of them named Rachel, one of them named Megan, and one of them named Anna.
I had like such a visceral reaction to this book. When we would be driving and listening to it, Hannah would like have to focus on the road, and I'm in the passenger seat like freaking out over what's happening. Intense.
And I read it a lot of time on the train to work, and I was like, so I was in like this big subway filled with people, and I'd be reading all, and I was like, what? And people would be like, really? Yeah, no, I was on the thing, like I got to this like one intense part, and I literally was like, everyone on the train was like, oh my god. And of course, I'm on the train reading The Girl on the Train. So, you know.
Very meta.
Very meta.
So I really, really enjoyed this book. I haven't really read many psychological thrillers, which I guess this counts as.
Yeah.
My only other one I've read is Gone Girl, which I read last year. And this book has a ton of comparisons to that, which I can definitely see why it does. But I think it completely stands on its own, and I kind of liked it better, to be honest.
I had the same thing. Like, I haven't fully read Gone Girl. I've read parts of it, but obviously I know what happens in Gone Girl. I'm still gonna love Gone Girl. But this book, we both went in completely having no idea what was happening, and I think that's what made it so interesting. And also I love books that are told from like first-person perspective point of views, because I love that kind of just stream of conscious type writing. I find that very interesting. It's kind of just like, I feel like I'm actually living in the moment, and I'm just going along with these women in their lives.
You like, really feel like you're the character.
And you kind of are in the dark with them for most of the book, actually. The author does a really good job at like hinting at stuff, but not like fully giving stuff away. So when something actually happens, you're not like, I saw that coming. It's kind of like a big like, holy crap, are you kidding me?
You definitely do not know who to believe or trust in this book at all. Every single character you meet, you think is suspicious.
Even the like narrators.
Yeah.
Like when no matter whose perspective it's from, there's times where I'm still like, are you telling the truth? Like, are you lying to yourself? Like, is this actually kind of what's going on? Especially Rachel, because she does have a drinking problem. That's not a spoiler. It's pretty much in the first like couple sentences. She doesn't quite remember things very well. She kind of blacks out, or she remembers things a bit fuzzy. So like even some of the things she's saying, you like she might believe it, but like because of what's happened, you're as the reader, you're kind of like, is that actually true?
Yeah.
Did that really happen? These
characters are super flawed and sometimes not likable
at
all, but you still have such I think an emotional connection to them. Like, there were so many times where I was so mad at Rachel during this book.
God.
She enraged me, but like the second I thought she might be in trouble or it was her, I was like going into like mama bear mode. And
Paula does such a good job at like, 2 seconds you hate them, and then a second later you're like, you absolutely love them, and they're so realistic.
Talking about the audiobook, I would definitely recommend that as a way to listen to this book. The writing and the characters, I think it lent itself to the audiobook so much. And it also, I think, I don't know if other people do this, but when I'm getting to a suspenseful part of the book, I will jump down the page to read what happens, and I will skip half the page.
Yeah,
but an audiobook, you have to just sit there and listen. But it really forces you to live in the moment.
The different perspectives were all told, and they have 3 different women who have all of them, which is really nice instead of kind of having the same woman like kind of try to do all of them. Rachel, I loved her voice. Megan is the woman.
She played Molly Hooper in Sherlock. I think it's Louisa something. I'm not exactly sure. Yeah, we'll put her name somewhere.
She has an amazing voice. Like the
really,
2 of them.
Really
Anna was one I was kind of little like.
But you hear her voice the least.
So it kind of
really
didn't bother me.
But it also matched her character.
Yeah, it did.
They all do an amazing job of portraying the characters.
We're talking a lot about the audiobook. Honestly,
it's honestly
really,
so
really,
good.
Really good.
Like for a first audiobook, I'm like so pleasantly surprised.
It's gonna we're gonna have to live up to those.
Yeah.
Because it was very good.
Yeah, the next one I listened to, I'm like, wasn't the girl on the train.
Yeah. So from here on out, it's going to be a spoiler section. So if you haven't read the book, I recommend stopping now.
Bye-bye.
And then come back later when you read it. So bye, people who
Bye.
haven't read it.
See you later.
And now it's us.
Who do you think was your main suspect before the ending?
My main suspect was Anna. I thought Anna had done it. Because there was also like Rachel kind of suspected that too. So some of her ideas were kind of warped into that, like, and I kind of had the idea of, like, it's Anna and Tom's helping covering it up. That was kind of I was like, Tom knows, but Tom's helping her kind of, like,
the thing is,
keep it down.
I thought it was Anna, too, for a while. I completely forgot that Megan nannied for them until the end. But I just forgot about it because so much happens. You know, we hear from Megan a year before all the events that Rachel's telling us about takes place. And so I just completely forgot that she nannied for them because I was like, they don't really have a connection that much. Like, I couldn't understand Anna's motive for wanting to kill Megan. But I think my main suspect, other than Anna, was probably Scott, because he just got so
shady,
violent and shady, and he slept with Rachel, and I was just like, he's not a good guy. I was really rooting for him at first. I was like, no, Scott didn't do it. They always think it's the husband and it's not him.
Yeah, no.
But when Rachel, once again, having she doesn't know who to believe, when she was like, his house smelled like bleach, I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah. I think also the scene where he locks her in that room, that whole, because he got very violent and stuff like that, and I was like, oh my god, I did have it for a moment. I was like, because I was, at that point was like, it's Anna, and then that part happened, I was like, wait, what?
So I also thought for a little bit that it was Abditch, but I could just tell that he wasn't, first of all, being developed enough, I think, for him to really have a motive to kill Megan.
Yeah.
And it would have, that kind of would have been the cop-out.
It was a bit too convenient.
Yeah, the same way that it was kind of convenient that Scott would have killed her, I think, which I think is in the end why I kind of understood that it wasn't them.
Basically, we thought it was literally everyone in the book.
Literally.
Except for the baby.
Except for Tom. I never actually thought it was Tom until the very end.
That was probably one of the most shocking moments for me.
Yeah.
When Anna found his phone, found the phone in his gym bag. Second he found that, I was like, oh my god. Like, she was listening to the voice message, and it was like, Anna was her voice, and I was like,
whose voice?
And
I was like, was it Rachel? Was it Megan?
Yeah, at first I thought it was Rachel, and I was like, oh my god, no.
It's
Megan.
And that's a detail that you remember, because they were like, they kept talking about how she hasn't turned her phone on. They can't find her phone.
Yeah.
And then there's the phone. I couldn't believe it.
He didn't seem like a great guy, honestly, because he cheated, but he didn't seem like...
But he was always kind of nice, you know? Yeah. He was always nice to Rachel, even after he would yell at her. And they had that scene in the car where he was being so nice, and oh my god, I just felt so bad for Rachel during that moment, because she just loved Tom so much, and she just couldn't see past it.
The whole entire ending thing with Tom, his big kind of ending monologue thing where he was just like, yeah, I fucking slept with her, who gives a shit. It was very just kind of why am I gonna lie to you? It was such a flip in his character, but it made so much sense at the same time. It was so drastic, but at the same time I could, it made sense where it came from, the way he spoke, and it just kind of once again it was the small hints that I didn't see.
When Rachel realized that he had been lying to her their entire marriage about what she'd been doing when she was young, I like was sobbing. I felt so bad.
Yeah, because she brought it up a lot, right? Last time she was at a party and she yelled at someone. She yelled at like the wife for flirting with Tom, and she felt so awful for it. And then she kept like remembering like, oh no, I shook her hand, like we were friendly. And in that moment, she realized she was right. It was just like she was. It was the same thing. It was that like, oh my God, like I felt so bad for her because she kind of got manipulated into thinking she was this awful.
She hated herself, and then she couldn't move on. I mean, Rachel's life was completely ruined because of her marriage falling apart because Tom was a psycho. I was so happy for her at the end of the book when she like got her shit together.
I was really happy at the end of the book that they didn't do like the kitschy
like let's see where everyone is.
Yeah, or like like she ended up with Scott. Her and Scott are so happy. Like she ended up, she was by herself, but she was okay with it. Like she wasn't like, it was kind of thing like where Scott didn't contact her again, and she was kind of like, I expected that, I'm happy, and she didn't have that longing like, I wish Scott would call me. No. In the beginning of the book, she was alone and couldn't handle the fact that she was being alone, and at the end she was even more alone, but she wasn't living with Kathy anymore, and she 100% didn't have Tom. And then she also didn't have her perfect couple. She was so happy, and she was becoming more sure of herself. Yeah. It was such a, that character development.
It was
character development though.
It was incredible.
It was really great.
Even though she murdered Tom basically in self-defense, but
manslaughter.
She killed the thing that she loved the most, But I think that was kind of a whole theme through all the women, Yeah. Megan with her child in the middle of the book. That was...
Me and Erica
we were together listening to that.
Reading that. I almost, I'm not joking.
We were both tearing
exaggerating. Up. I almost had to pull. We were on the highway, and I almost pulled over my car to, give myself a moment to be like...
It was heartbreaking. I thought she was going to kill the... Mac, the guy that she was living with. Or, he, got rid of the child or something like that, and then... She gets into the bathtub, and you were just like, oh,
you saw it coming.
No.
Second, she was like, I got into the bathtub. I was like, you saw it coming, but she just wouldn't say it. But the thing is, you knew what it was gonna be, but she just wasn't saying it. And
I was so happy for her in her final chapter, because she was gonna get her life together. She was like, I'm gonna do the right thing by this child, and if Scott's with me or Scott's against me, it doesn't matter. She's like, I'm here for this child.
In the end, she was like, I'm gonna be a good mother. And then she's like, I need to be a better person. And her first step to being a better person was admitting everything to Scott. She was trying to be good. She tried to tell Scott that what was going on, and Scott blew up at her, and so she tried to go to Tom to be like, if this is your kid, and Scott, because I think her fear was that Scott was gonna leave her, and she's like, okay, well, what am I gonna do? This might be Tom's kid. I'm gonna go to Tom. So she goes to Tom, and Tom kills her. It's like she was trying to do the right thing for her kid, both times, and both of the men in her life just
and Mac did the same thing.
Let her down. They all the guys in her life, except for Abditch, was the only one, and he ended in a way of being like, you don't need me, you can do this on your own. He was the only one who was really supportive.
And I think Megan, even though she, made bad decisions, she just did it out of such a hurt place, She
was an emotionally damaged person.
Her brother died, and she just made bad decisions from there. And I think it's just, like we said earlier, it's just so realistic, and you can see this happening to someone you know.
Oh yeah, no.
And it's just how many people's lives end this way?
Because we haven't talked really about Anna, especially because Anna is kind of sprinkled throughout the book. She doesn't have that, not she doesn't that many important things, but then at the end she becomes a key player in the last quarter of the book. First, when I read it through the end part, I thought Anna wasn't going to help Rachel with Tom, and then I realized, I was thinking about it, and then kind of Rachel mentioned it, that she was a kid. And she was thinking of her kid. She wasn't gonna, and Tom kept taking the baby, and I can only imagine her being okay, my first priority is my child, and making sure and so she was trying to protect her kid. And the second she got her kid upstairs, the whole time I think was trying to fight, because it wasn't told from Anna's perspective, so we couldn't see in her
I wish
head.
we had a chapter from her just to like see what she was thinking.
But I think the whole time she was like, in her mind, it was trying to be like, okay, what am I going to do? Have to help Rachel. I need to get rid of Tom. But she couldn't say it, so she was like laughing with Tom with some of the jokes she made against Rachel. I'm with my husband. And then in the end you find out that Anna
was pushing it in. But I think that's kind of like, that's the point for the reader to be like, I can't think about what's been said about this woman because you have such a distorted view of her from what Rachel has told and what Rachel and Megan told you about her, and from what, you know, she thinks as herself, because she's so scared of Rachel. Obviously that, you know, kind of gets resolved in the end.
I think you think like she's not smart. Not like she's not smart, but she's not gonna do the right thing. And twist the corkscrew into Tom's neck, like making sure that he's dead. I don't think she could have saved him, like actually saved him, but she could have tried to like attempt to save him, but it wouldn't have worked, but she didn't. She made sure Tom was going to die.
I think it's just interesting to see like everyone has a motive. I kind of just wish that we got more of Tom's, like we learned more about his childhood or something, just kind of see what led to him being that way, because you kind of get hinted that his parents and him like aren't having a good relationship, and he's lied about a lot of stuff. But I guess that's kind of like the unanswered question, like what drove him to be this way. But you never can find out now.
I think another good question would be, would you want there to be a sequel?
I don't know if there could be.
I think it would be interesting to see
maybe also, like a novella.
Novella.
Like,
from oh my god, Abditch's perspective. I think doing the three, because like 3 women doing the 3 guys. I think it'd be interesting. I don't think it would be. It could be as long as everyone else, because most of Scott's thing would be. We heard a lot about Scott's past, because Scott kind of just, he needed to tell someone, so he told Rachel. So, other question, would you want this book to be made into a movie?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is written like a very, like it's definitely a psychological thriller, but it's written like a very interesting take on kind of like, there's like the crime TV shows, but I think it's a different take because it's not, there's no really, you don't hear any perspective of any of the police officers. It's all the people trying to kind of figuring things out for themselves. It would be interesting to bounce back and forth between kind of Rachel and Megan and Anna and seeing all of them. And I think
if you saw like they could put in like flashbacks and stuff to stuff that you
about Rachel,
hear about,
Rachel's
but then you could actually see it like
Megan's
Megan's past, and like they could probably lay in a lot more hints that way.
Yeah, I think you'd be able to probably see a bit more about Tom and Scott that way.
And it'd have to be British, which means like amazing production, amazing actors. Tell us in the comments who you want to see in the different roles. I think Billie Piper would be an amazing Rachel.
Oh, that'd be
right.
Yeah, I actually think
Louise something
would make a good Megan.
Henry Cavill, I think, could be a good Scott, because he's very big, but he looks very sweet too.
That's the end of our first review.
Yay! I hope you guys liked it. We clearly, because we've been talking for half an hour.
It was so bad.
We loved this book. I think this is like one of my favorite books I've read all year. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars.
I gave it a 5 out of 5. Like, honestly, like a true 5 out of 5.
Yeah.
It's an overall really, really good book.
Really, really great book. So, yay! Well, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Let us know what your thoughts on this book are in the comments.
Love to talk to them about.
Love to talk to someone about this book.
Because we just have each other right now.
Yeah, and we've been telling all of our friends to read it.
I'm forcing my mother to read it. I literally was like, I'm done with it. Here you go, Mom. And she's like, okay, Hannah.
Yeah, stay tuned for more videos. Thank you guys so much to all our subscribers and commenters so far. You guys have been so nice and awesome.
Please don't be afraid to comment down below. I honestly would love to talk to more people and get to know more people on BookTube.
We're so lonely.
We're so lonely. No, but honestly, we'd love to.
We just want to be part of the community, and that means, that means reaching out to you guys.
Yeah, let us know. Like I said, let us know if you've read the book.
If you have more book recommendations based off this one, like, I would love to read something else.
If you have other ones, if you've read this book, or if you know books similar to this, let us know. We'd love to do that, especially with October coming up. Some spoopy books. Super spoopy.
And your dream cast for a movie down below. I'm sure this has been auctioned for movie rights.
It has to.
It had to be.
First one for Buddy Review.
Is that like the hashtag?
Hashtag Buddy Review.
Hashtag Buddy Review. Buddy! Bye!
Alright, get ready to end it.
Bye! Lars, where are you from?
Far away. I make a very
Disturbing
noise when I sleep. Don't be alarmed. I'm fine. Come on, you devil!